Hello, friends, and welcome to the most glorious of events, the Movie Mavericks podcast. This outstanding program is hosted by two fine gentlemen, Jason and Trevor. Now make it so.
MovieMavericks.com.
Hey, now everybody, welcome to episode 392 of the Movie Mavericks podcast. I'm Trevor Anderson, send you over to Jason Rugard. He's got a rundown for us.
On tonight's episode, we are going to be talking about the fifth entry, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, the last entry for the iconic franchise, the long, venerable franchise there. I'll talk about that, as well as iconically Eddie Murphy coming back for Candy Cane Lane, Evil Dead Rises. Trevor's going to talk about that. And did you know that Vince Vaughn wrote a Christmas movie that he didn't star in? We're going to discuss Christmas with the Campbells and trailers for Mad Max Furiosa. That's the continuation to the series. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, as well as Godzilla times Kong, or is it Godzilla and Kong? I'm not sure about this titling. The New Empire. So
Must be times.
And Night Swim. Let's not forget. Least we forget about
Night
Night Swim.
And I'm gonna throw in a quick review for It's a Wonderful Knife too, because actually my Evil Dead Rise review is gonna be very quick. So I would much rather. I think people are more interested in It's a Wonderful Knife right now.
That's got
it's Christmas time.
A lot of heat going on it. I think that might be the most talked about Christmas
oddly
horror
does.
film.
It really is right now.
Silent Night, Deadly Night, right? That's like the last time it polarized audiences.
You know, no joke. It kind of is. But that's part of the whole horror comedy thing, where this types of horror movies just open up the doors to so many people.
And that is almost a subgenre, right, in its own right.
At this point, yes, and it's been quite profitable too. So it's starting to get a little full, though, you know, and things are starting to get a little like, okay, maybe we should make sure we're making the best possible movies.
All right, well, we'll talk about that, and let's first get to a little bit of trivia. Trevor's got the trivia machine already ready to go, and he's going to test our knowledge here. Let's see what we got.
All right. Which of these is not a film directed by Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez?
Okay.
All right. From Dusk Till Dawn, Grindhouse, Four Rooms, Sin City. Relatively easy.
Well, I mean,
actually,
they're all directed by one or the other. What's the question?
A bit of a trick question.
Yeah, directed by each other. I mean, Grindhouse.
My guess is it's going to be Four Rooms, but Four Rooms has a segment
directed by Rodriguez,
which is yeah, but
I think that was.
Okay, let's just see.
I think it's Four Rooms.
No, what is it?
What are they counting?
From Dusk Till Dawn?
No, that's an error. That's directed by Rodriguez. I mean, all those movies are directed by one or the other. I think you found the glitch in the Matrix, my man.
I'm really confused right now.
You found the simulation hole.
I don't know. Have I? I mean,
let's do another. Let's cleanse our palate.
I'm so confused. Wait a minute.
Is it in the wording?
Oh, it's the wording. Is not a film co-directed?
Ah.
Got it. Four Rooms, Sin City, Grindhouse all had scenes directed by one or the other, right?
Correct, yeah.
From Dusk Till Dawn is all just Robert Rodriguez. I get it.
Working from the Tarantino script.
I'm a fucking idiot. Can't read. Yeah.
It's okay. Let's do another one, though.
I understand it now. So that was correct. I don't know why. That fucked me up.
Four Rooms is probably the least heralded out of that group, though.
Probably the least seen. For whatever. I'm not about to tell you to go watch it.
It's on the level of like New York Stories.
It's interesting, but whatever. Okay, number 12. Wow, we're at the very beginning here. 3 of the 4 collaborative efforts between Gary Cooper and Clara Bow were released in 1927. Oof. Which of these is not one of them? Okay, A, It. B, Wings. C, Children of Divorce. D, Get Your Man. A, It?
It's Wings.
You think it's Wings?
Yeah.
No. It's D, Get Your Man.
I mean, can we get something this century? What kind of fucking trivia are you throwing at me tonight?
Hey, it's what the book said. Oh, God, it picked 23. Oh, shit, sorry.
Well, great. What is this one, about 1832?
Wow, I don't know if maybe you might know this. Can you name the actress who was born Virginia Catherine McMath but is better known by her stage name. Do you know who that is?
What's my options?
You got Jean Harlow, Betty Davis, Ginger Rogers, or Katharine Hepburn.
Give me those again.
Jean Harlow, Betty Davis, Ginger Rogers, Katharine Hepburn.
I think it's Jean Harlow.
No.
Damn, I'm off tonight.
It's Ginger Rogers.
Who the fuck knows these things?
I'm doing a higher one. I'm doing okay. 2160.
You're really
Oh,
embarrassing us tonight out here.
We gotta. Those are so old. I can't help you. This okay. We got Eddie Murphy's picture on this page. We're good.
Fuck. Gotta get this one.
All right. Oh, Jason. Here you go. In the classic boxing film Rocky, what does Rocky say Thanksgiving is for him?
Just another Thursday. It's Thursday to him. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to read it to me. Yeah. It might be Thanksgiving to you, but it's Thursday to me.
Are you happy now?
Yeah. Thank you. I'm redeemed. Did you just make that one up to give that to me? I feel like you just invented that.
That was the one it went to.
You said Eddie Murphy.
Question 2160.
And then you gave me a Rocky trivia question.
I saw Eddie Murphy. I know that I read it. Rocky. So there you go.
I feel like that was a fixed fight just to get my confidence back.
That was made for you.
I'll take it, though. I'll take it.
Well, that's what you get.
Oh, all right. Fuck. That was a rough trivia run tonight. My goodness. All right,
well, that's what happens when you have a book that does trivia from all of film.
Yeah, that's lets you know that even if you think you're well versed on film history, there's a lot of film history out there.
I don't know that stuff, to be honest with you.
My film history pre-1960s gets real wonky. I can do some Best Picture winners, but with stars and real names and stage names. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of interest aside from like particular things like Hitchcock type stuff. I just don't have a lot of interest in the other movies.
I mean, I like some film noir and expressionism and stuff like that. But, yeah. Like even Nosferatu and things, but just that was hard trivia.
Sure.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And I want you to go first on this one because you saw it before I did. I just got caught up with it today. You saw it before me, so give me your rundown and then I'll counterbalance it.
You want me to go first? Yeah. So you liked it is what I'm going to
all right, I'll start. I was beguiled by this movie because you shit on it through a text message to me, and so did the world, to be honest with you, and I was expecting a letdown on the level of Mission Impossible 7, and not only did I find the first 25 minutes of this thing to be an awesome throwback with a few spotty moments where that CG didn't quite work, but at the same time, I really got into this, and I think that this script should have been filmed back in 2008 when they had a younger Harrison Ford and they had Spielberg behind the camera, because nobody is Spielberg. This movie is not a Steven Spielberg film. It's oddly flat at some points and dull when it doesn't have to be because it's doing all the right things. But I was just won over by the overall. I'm listening to The Last Action Heroes by Nick DeSimone, the book that you're reading, I think, as well. And I'm just in a world of 80s right now. And this was such a beautiful remembrance of it. And it wasn't overly agenda-sized, I didn't think, or any of that. I liked the movie for what it was. For entertainment's sake, I wish it was about 30 minutes shorter. The last scene is very divisive. You're either going to go with that or you're not. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it for you. I decided to go with it, and it didn't bother me. I thought this was a great ending to this character.
You agree that mathematics is amazing?
I agree that it's a better
mathematics.
It's better. Look, first of all,
no, it's not. This is a terrible.
No, this
movie,
is better than Kingdom
of the
of the Skull.
Worst scripts in the world.
No, this is
I don't know
better than Kingdom of the Skulls.
The dude, first of all, that guy's dead. I don't know how he comes back in the fucking movie, but all right, whatever. Indiana Jones is just an old, decrepit man that he just kind of waddles around.
They trot out
the whole movie. He's interviewing her about like who she is, who her character is, the Phoebe Waller-Bridge, her character. Instead of talking about his, like he's not the center of this movie.
No.
I mean, by a long shot.
It's still,
right, this is her movie.
There are good supporting
it's weird.
characters
They
in this
shoe him
movie.
in there.
You didn't like. I thought Antonio Banderas was a nice breath of fresh air.
He's barely in it.
I thought Hal
he's barely
Holbrook,
in it. He's in it, and he's on the boat for 2 seconds,
Hal
and that's
Holbrook
it.
as
So no,
the CIA henchman was very good in this. I thought there was a lot of good things going on in this movie, and I didn't have
Not at all.
a problem at all with Mads Mikkelsen, even though he's a Dane playing a German here, a war criminal.
he's dead.
Fine.
No, not fine. How's he's come back in that movie? And what does the Dial of Destiny do? How is they able to make it? Mathematics. Well, mathematics doesn't do any fucking thing. So what's the Dial of Destiny?
I'm not looking
and
for
the ending of that
realism
movie
in
is
a movie
dog shit.
that has an 80-year-old
no,
man
It's
kicking
not. It's not
ass.
that I'm not looking for realism, man. This isn't even close.
I really
Like, this movie it just doesn't care. It just exists to be Indiana Jones nonsense.
I feel the exact
Right.
opposite. I thought this wasn't a cash grab, and I thought that they actually put time into the script. I liked the screenplay. I think that it gets a little soggy in the middle, but at the same time, they retcon so much bullshit that went on before it with the son and Marion, and they do it in such a nice way that I thought it was. First of all, let's just talk about the opening 30 minutes. Did you like the prologue that was here? Basically, the third act of a movie we never saw. Did you like how they opened this movie?
It was fine, I guess. I don't know. I really don't want to watch Indiana Jones in a modern day, directed by non-Spielberg. So no, I thought too much of it didn't hit and didn't work at all. Like there's a moment where he gets in the car and the higher ups get in the back seat, basically mistaking him as a driver, and it's a perfect Indiana Jones moment, and it's completely ruined. It just goes nowhere, does nothing. It doesn't heighten anything. It doesn't. It just doesn't work, right? And like Mangold this is not his greatest directing. I
think it's a fine directing job, but I just think it's not Spielberg, and we've come to expect. I mean,
no, the story isn't like any of the first three, even the fourth one. Like this. This story just makes little to no sense. It really doesn't have much of a point. And even by the time they get to it and discover the true meaning of the Dial of Destiny, it really doesn't have a fucking point.
He's a man out of time in his era. He's got nothing to live for. It makes sense. It's set up to the decision is set up
with the end of the movie.
I
don't know.
I think that it's totally set up throughout it for what his ultimate decision is going to be.
I hear what you're saying. I don't think the movie actually says, or it didn't say that for me.
Fair enough. I think, though, will you say this? It's better than the last one?
No.
Really? You think The Kingdom of the Skulls is better?
I don't, because the last one's at least directed by Spielberg.
I'll give you that.
And so this is just, I don't really care about this movie. Like, I just don't. I don't think I would watch this again. I don't, like, it didn't have the fun that we just watched the third one not too long ago. That movie was fun. Yeah. It had a point to it, more or less. The characters were there. In this movie, he really was playing second fiddle to the girl. He was following her around. He was interviewing her, asking about her character. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? Oh, you're really a good person. Well, who gives a fuck?
I thought it didn't have the triple crosses that the last one did. They were trying to push Mutt as the hero in the last one. The story got so confused. And I like this mathematics or this time travel aspect way more than I liked the Anunnaki or the Crystal Skulls or whatever the fuck they were doing with the aliens in the last one.
They could have made this way better, and so I just say no. I say no.
I think Spielberg behind the camera would have made this even better, but I think that this is the best.
I think the story might have made more sense if Spielberg had more involvement at that point, but this was just, I thought it was a sloppily written script.
I thought it was the best they could possibly have done at this stage of the game, and I didn't mind this entry of it.
Well, I'm not giving anyone preps for that.
All right, let's move on. So we're split on this one. Let's move on and talk about Christmas with the Campbells. Now, this is a Vince Vaughn written picture. You wouldn't know it because it didn't get much fanfare. It's available right now on Hulu. I didn't even know about it until you brought it to my attention, so I'm going to let you run.
This came out last year.
It came out last year. Stars Brittany Snow and Justin Long and Alex Moffat from SNL. Go ahead with your review, and then I'll chime in with mine afterwards.
This is a straight-up normal, regular Christmas movies directed by Claire Niederpruem, whatever her name is. She's done a lot of Christmas movies, so it feels real. It doesn't lampoon this. Basically it is, right? It's supposed to be like hard R-rated dialogue and stuff, and some basically play on a lot of the stereotypical characters in these movies, but it does it in such a way it's not like a scary movie or an airplane or any of that type of stuff. It's like a legit Christmas movie, which is what I thought was like a lot, was charming about it anyhow. And I really like Justin Long in this. I don't know. I love the euphemisms, whatever peels your potato,
whatever winds your watch.
Whatever winds your watch. Like when he tells her, shoot me if I'm trespassing, but like he's about to get into some shit with her. Like I loved that. And I loved the weird voice thing that he did. I don't, because he's trying to be like the tough, gruff guy. And he's got the dog and he's always wearing like the outdoorsy stuff. I thought it was a fun, Christmas movie. I watched it. I saw it twice and laughed the second time through. I thought the hard R stuff is weird, but it's also funny and it kind of works. And the actors all make it work. And I don't know, it's just a nice, easy Christmas movie I thought to watch. If you have a dirty mind, especially, I guess.
I agree with you. And you know what? We watched it twice too. And it was even funnier the second time around because everything you're saying is right. Justin Long with his euphemisms. To me, I hear Vince Vaughn in that all day long. I mean, if that's not Vince Vaughn's writing, I don't know what part of it is. Also, my favorite character in the entire film was the Alex Moffat character, the really arrogant Wall Street or the financier, and the things he was saying. He was almost commenting on the movie as if he was outside the movie. When the one girl comes in to flirt with them and he leaves and he says, "She is horny as fuck." That is my favorite line in the entire movie. I thought that
whole thing is funny.
When he breaks up with her in the beginning and says, "I'm going to miss you," in that fresh pussy. I mean, these are the things that you
really make your pussy pop.
These are things that you wouldn't expect in something that looks and plays like a Hallmark movie for 90% of its running time.
Well, and Brittany Snow does a good like Anna Faris, like what, like what's going on? Like Anna Faris in Scary Movie, like that very like this is weird, but okay, like I'm gonna go with it.
Anna Faris is a good comparison. Amy Smart does the same thing in a lot of her movies. Is very stoic in these kind of incredulous situations, but also George Wendt as the father and the mother who they're
the paint huffing father.
The paint huffing, and they're drinking lean and syrup at night to get it, and the mom wants that dick every Sunday morning. I mean, these little touches are what constantly made me want to keep watching the movie because from a storyline, this is so ridiculous. She gets dumped, goes to spend holidays with the ex-boyfriend's parents, meets the ex-boyfriend's cousin, starts a fling with him.
Standard,
I mean,
Christmas type movie.
Everything is in play here that you've seen before. It's those little that 10% of the movie that they sprinkle in where these lines come out of nowhere, and it's just what you're thinking, and it livens it up.
I don't know about you, but when we watch movies like this, everyone's yelling the dirtiest shit at the screen, like trying to come up with some stuff. And this movie, it was hysterical watching this because the movie would outdo what people would say. Like there's that moment where they're going to bed and she's trying to talk to George Wendt, and she's like, you got to come over here. And like, what are you hanging Christmas lights for? And someone goes, "Oh, I'll drop your pants." And the fucking wife is like, "Yeah, get your dick out." Like everyone, like the movie just tops it. It just goes so far.
Yeah, like you.
It's so unexpected. It's
you
funny.
had alluded to the paint huffing reference, and that's when the father says, "Let me go outside and let me just get one hit before the end of the."
She's like,
and
"Oh,
you think it's
honey,
a
I thought
cigarette?
you quit. You think it's
it
like,
sounds like he's going to go out and have a quick cigarette, and he goes, "Okay, I'm going to go out and huff some paint one last time."
I just like how he's going along with the wife. Like she's like when they do the drinks and
with the syrup, the lean.
Yes. And he's just like, is it? I like how it's not oaky.
Yeah, he's like, you got to mix it with grape soda.
Yeah.
Very, very entertaining Christmas movie. Obviously not for the whole family, but if you want something that it isn't gonna. It's an easy watch. It isn't going to offend you, but it's going to entertain you. Christmas with the Campbells, currently available on the Hulu app.
Whatever. It peeled my potato. I'll just say
it definitely wound my watch, I'd have to say, as well.
What does he say? You got a couple more steps and you'll get to the whole crust.
When she comes down in the big dress, he goes, in the shiny dress, he goes, "You look like a shooting star met a disco ball."
Disco ball. And she does. It was one of those dresses that look like a disco ball.
She looked fucking ridiculous in it, so... yeah, very well done. And then you have the old lady in that as well, who's kind of like the Greek chorus, who's talking shit about him the whole time. Then at the end wants to fuck
that's
him.
Right.
That's a
She's
great.
Like, what a whore.
That's a great little bit of casting too. Everyone's Alex Moffat, though, to me, like I said, is really the star of that movie because he's such an asshole. Mm-hmm. That's the Vince Vaughn role, if you will. The prick of it. So I see a lot of his fingertips in it.
But at least in like Christmas movie lore, the way that most of these movies play out, he's not painted as an actual bad guy because there's no bad guys. Everyone's just whatever. They're just here. So he finds his own way. They give him the Joanna Garcia character, that other girl who's baking to
be with
so that
somebody.
He can go off and be happy with her. Yeah. So so the movie never feels like weighted down in any kind of like animosity ever.
No, it's cutely wrapped up too. I mean, I hate to use that word, but it is nicely wrapped up. Not particularly well directed or a feat of filmmaking. I mean, these sets.
Thank God, because
very straightforward.
I don't think it should be. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about, or let me know about Evil Dead Rises. Tell me what's going on with this Sam Raimi remake. I think this is, the fourth time they remade this film? I mean, it's got so many...
Well, this isn't even a remake, but yeah, this is like an offshoot,
It
I
lives
guess.
in the world
what would you
of...
call
I mean,
this?
does it have the Book of the Dead in it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it has a Book of the Dead.
So it has nothing to do with Ash or his people.
No, and it's boring as fuck, and don't watch it. It's stupid. It's Evil Dead Rise. It takes place in a single floor in this... It's in a fucking apartment. Why isn't it in the whole apartment complex? I don't know. They're in the parking garage and the fucking floor they live on. Barely. Mostly it takes place in their apartment. And there's about, I don't know, 5 characters in the whole thing. And any of the extra characters that live around them are just zombie whatever. I was horribly bored with this movie. It is just the weakest Evil Dead thing I've ever seen in my life, honestly. And great special effects, I guess. The money's on the screen, but God, what a boring story.
Is it straight horror, or is there a comedy element like the other ones had?
No. Oh, yes, but it doesn't play because it's ultra realistic. This is the problem that I had with the Evil Dead remake, which after watching this looks a lot better. It's too you can't be so realistic and then still put the horror, the comedy stuff in there. It doesn't make any sense. And this does, I would say, more comedy than that. And it doesn't make any sense for the Deadite things to be like, I don't know. At that point, it's not comedy anymore because The Exorcist had that kind of shit in it, where it was sitting there cursing at people, doing things, saying gross things and all this kind of shit. Well, it's not funny if it's real, right?
Yeah, it's horrifying. It's repugnant even.
It's just whatever. I didn't give a shit. I didn't care about any of these characters. Fucking kill them all. I don't give a shit. Yeah, just a boring movie. Too small of a movie for how big of a budget this had. You could see the budget on the screen. It looks great. It looks very real. Lots of blood. But boring.
Maybe they set it in an apartment because the first one, and really the remake, the second one, is all set in a cabin. But I mean, the woods and the openness of it is what kind of gives it its bigness, and kind of it didn't seem like a small movie because of the scariness of the woods.
Right? And so in this movie, they do the same thing. They isolate them, but they're on a single floor and they can't really get out. It's hard to get out because the thing's all over the place. They have to get to the elevator, and their neighbors, it infects them, so they don't really do anything. The best I could talk about, because this is basically a zombie movie, but it's worse than zombies, right? But in a zombie movie, you get some camaraderie, right? And in this movie, you didn't get that. What you got was more of this lady's going to be a great mother, and the proof of it is that she's going to save her sister's kid. And this is literally spoken about in the movie. The little girl's you're going to be a great mom. After she's saving her and all this shit. It's ugh.
That's left over from the 1980s.
No.
That's a bad horror film from the
shit.
1980s
bad
or something.
Shit. They should have done something more. They're in an apartment complex. They should have introduced a bunch of people. Everyone in the apartment complex should have been in it. And it should have been bouncing around. They should have been trapped in there with everyone in there, trying to do that. It should have been more of a Dawn of the Dead type thing, when they're in the mall.
But there should have
been this stuff
when they had the building, the haunted building, and that.
Yes, yes. But there should have been some camaraderie, right? There should have been other people involved in it with other backgrounds and stuff. And it was so limited and so small that it's just not worth it. Ultimately, I'm sad. I bought this. I only paid $10 for it, but I'm still sad that I bought it. I don't want it anymore.
That sucks. You now own it forever.
Well, it is on our digital, but I'm going to sell the disc. I
saw that you put it on there, and I was going to watch it, and I wanted your rundown before I looked at it because I was a little underwhelmed when we went back and looked at Army of Darkness.
Maybe you might like it. I mean, I've heard nothing. It's funny because I didn't want to believe it, but I've heard nothing but bad things, and people watching this saying it was bad. And you look at the trailer, and I think, well, how can it be that bad? It is. It is that bad.
God, that's disappointing. Did Raimi have anything to do with this? Sam Raimi?
Well, I don't know. I mean, probably
Executive producer of some sort of level.
His executive producer thing, but his executive producer credits, be wary. I don't think they mean fucking much.
Yeah, to be fair, I know we'll talk about this later, but I saw his name popped up on Time Cop recently. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, let me know a little bit more about It's a Wonderful Knife. This is the Christmas film that's getting a lot of heat right now, so let our audience know what's going on.
Everyone's talking about this. I've heard good and bad things about this. I'm going to throw it out here. This is pretty moderate. Like, it's an okay movie. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's a play on It's a Wonderful Life, obviously, but it's with a knife instead of a life. So as this girl stops a serial killer comes out, kills some of her classmates, but she's able to stop him. And but everyone, a year later, everyone's kind of moved on from it, and she's still stuck in that, like, I had to kill this guy. There was a serial killer. It killed some of our friends, but nobody wants to talk about it. They want to move on. So she makes a wish because she feels like no one sees her. So she makes a wish that she was, never born or something, just like It's a Wonderful Life. And then she's trapped in this alternate universe where the serial killers are it's ongoing, like they're being attacked all the time in this town. And so she meets this weirdo, right? This outsider. They literally call her Weirdo in the movie. And she was introduced in the first half of the film. But so she's going to team up with her because, of course. And there's other high school drama, her boyfriend cheated on her, but whatever, all that kind of bullshit's going on. So to further isolate her and the weirdo. And then they decide, in order to get her back to her original timeline, they got to kill the killer. And of course, there's a twist that you'll see coming from a mile away. I actually guessed the twist even before she switched timelines. I think everyone will. It's not fucking hard. They don't even hide it very well. Actually, I think it's in the trailer, so maybe don't watch the trailer.
Oh, God.
But Justin Long is fucking annoying in this. He's playing this little weenie guy, and he says, Justin. It's god awful. And there's a lot of like Scream, like I want to say throwbacks to Scream, but there's just mentions of Scream. There's just a lot of like very weak. Like, this is a slasher. Don't you like slashers?
Oh.
A lot of that shit in here. And so it's just, it was moderate. Like, I didn't mind the movie, but a lot of people didn't really like it so much, and I don't blame them. I don't know. I've seen it seems like these have been going downhill, I mean, I love the Happy Death Day movies. I liked Freaky, which this is the same writer from Freaky, but there's no, Freaky had a co-writer.
Freaky was surprisingly well done.
Yeah, but again, co-writer with the director of Freaky. This is just one writer, separate director. But so I don't know. Maybe they needed this guy needed be able to bounce more ideas off some people.
Another
you know what I mean?
Run at the script, another draft.
Yeah, something else, some for it, because it wasn't like it was a bad movie or anything. It's just a little weird, and I'm just gonna say it because it feels like it's weird. There's a lot of like gay and lesbianism stuff in this that feels out of place. It feels, or not even out of place. It feels placed,
like shoehorned in.
And so it's weird. Well, she winds up getting with the weirdo girl at the end, which is weird because they don't really. She has a boyfriend before. She has no interest in girls.
So it's not set up at all.
But then they just kiss all of a sudden. Yeah. Well, the weirdo girl's obviously weird, and there's like weird tension from her. So I called that immediately too, because there's a moment in the beginning of this movie where two boys leave a party, go out into the woods, and start making out, and then they hear something, and you're like, oh, I guess the killer's gonna kill them, but no, then they just leave, and they make the comment like, oh, you're such a good kisser. It's a good kiss, it's you can hear it. So I thought that's weird, right? Like, why? Like, that feels like you're trying to make a point, right? Is what that felt like to me. But it doesn't spoil the movie, so I won't. I can't really complain too much about it. It just felt like I don't know. That felt weird.
It didn't feel organic to the story at all.
No, I don't know. I don't know what to do with that or what to do with this movie. But it's an okay movie if you need to watch a fun slasher. I mean, a lot of it doesn't make sense, but it's weird. So I guess it doesn't have to.
I liked a couple years ago Black Christmas, and was it?
Oh, I love. Oh, the 2006 Black Christmas is the best.
And
I don't.
What was the Krampus?
Krampus, Krampus is very good.
That was okay too.
The one, God, I just reviewed it. There was one on Amazon. There was a time travel one.
The Totally Killers
Slasher one that just came out. Yeah, Totally Killers.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
That one was better than this.
I liked that one actually.
Yeah, it was a lot better than
was.
this one. This one just had weird moments and just like faults in logic and stuff. I don't know, but it had some good kills. It was plenty bloody, and I don't know. I guess you just know the story. You know, it's not hard to figure out. So.
Better than Evil Dead.
Better than Evil Dead. That's for damn sure.
It's faint praise, but it is praise. So you're giving it a mild recommendation. It sounds like.
It's harmless, is what I would say about it.
Well, I caught Candy Cane Lane. This is the latest production from Amazon Studios. It's got Eddie Murphy in it, and after all these years, it is his first Christmas-themed film, although he's been doing family films since the late 90s. I mean, half of his 40-year career he's been doing family films, so it's no surprise to see him there, but it is surprising to see him in a holiday-themed film, and this one, as much as I like Murphy, he is just serviceable in it, and this is a movie that is very confused from a storytelling aspect. You think it's about this contest, about a light ceremony on a block, and the guy that wants to win it, but all of a sudden it becomes a 12 Days of Christmas story where he's got to collect these rings and go on these adventures, and meanwhile he has these little miniature ornaments talking to him, and if he doesn't acquire all these rings, he's going to turn into this ornament, and it's CGI heavy. There are a couple chuckles here and there, but overall a pretty disappointing effort from Amazon and Murphy. I know it's getting a lot of views right now because it's widely available, but it's not much. I mean, for the budget they were given and the time and effort that went into this, and it's extremely cheap looking, by the way. This was clearly shot on the Universal backlot or the Warner Brothers backlot. You can see it's the
cheaper than Christmas with the Campbells.
No, not quite that cheap, but just a step above. It looks very like a back street. I mean, it's not a back lot.
I guess that's not surprising though with Eddie Murphy at this point, right? And this is basically what would be the equivalent of a direct-to-video movie,
and his blood pressure barely gets raised in this whole thing. You know what I mean? You have to see if he's awake.
He's like Steven Seagal style, sitting around.
I mean, he's a little bit more energetic than that, but I almost want to think of the most lazy Martin Lawrence performance you can think of. You know, like in Daddy Day Trip or Roscoe Jenkins Coming Home.
I guess. I mean, he's usually pretty animated.
So is Murphy, but for here, he is really toned down. He just looked bored and going through the motions, and the lady who does who I can't think of her name, she's the villainess in this. She was also the villainess in WandaVision, who plays almost the exact same role here. You know who I'm talking about. She's
what is
from
her name?
Bad
I do know
Moms,
exactly what you're talking about.
is where she blew up at.
I like her a lot.
Yeah, so do I, but she's very one note here, and it's just nothing really works. It's something to put on, I guess, in the background. It's the kind of movie that plays on the TV in the background of a better movie. You know, like a Christmas movie down the line. They got this just playing on the TV in the background because it sucks. It's not going to be a fucking classic. There's no Christmas classic like this.
So it goes right along with like Haunted Mansions, what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to put this in like a pecking order, you have your Elves and, you know, your real classics. Excuse me. And then on the
like Bad Santa,
you know, and then on the lower end you have your Fred Claus and shit like that, and this is in the middle somewhere, I guess. So not the worst of the bunch, but not the best of the bunch. Somewhere in the very inoffensive middle. I mean, nowhere near like a Santa Claus type deal. It's very mundane. All right. That wraps up our review portion. Let's get to the trailers. So I think we're going to have a lot more fun talking about the trailers. I have a lot more optimism about some things coming out to theaters. After all this time, we are getting...
I want to hear what's optimistic.
I'm optimistic.
No, I want to hear the worst. Tell me the worst
first.
The worst. I want to end on a happy note.
Let's talk about...
Give me your worst trailer that you've
out of
seen
the bunch that we're going to talk about here, this Night Swim. I don't know, heads or tails, what the fuck is going on with this. This almost looks like it could be a spoof, like Thanksgiving is Eli Roth's spoof movie.
You've seen the runtime, right?
What, an hour and 25?
It is 2 hours long.
Get the fuck out of here. How much time can be spent in the actual pool?
2 hours.
Out of here. Starring Wyatt Russell as the father. This is about a family who moves into a home. That pool, the girl at night is playing Marco Polo, and then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose is the best thing I can make of this. How that they have a runtime of 2 hours, and how this isn't a parody trailer, but this is a real movie, I do not know.
Oh, it's uber serious, right? I mean, this looks like a movie. Well, this is a Blumhouse movie. And it looks like it just takes itself a bit too serious, and so there's going to be an exploration phase of this movie. Likely, what would be the end of the third act into the second act, and the first half of the second act is I can only imagine going to be ridiculously boring.
The whole thing, I think, until the reveal, which is probably going to be a huge letdown.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So maybe the build towards the third act, but I would feel like the exploring of what the pool is and like just trying to, get their bearings on them as they're in this haunted pool or whatever the fuck is going to be. I just feel like that's going to be boring, especially at this runtime.
It's insufferable. I'm going to make you watch this and report back to us on this. I don't think I'm going to.
I'll wind up watching it. I'll just be honest. I will wind up watching it, but I don't know.
Oh. All right. Well, I'll let you pick the next trailer then, since I picked what I thought was the worst of the bunch so far.
Well, so I got to pick the third
I guess
worst?
in your estimate.
Ooh, I don't know. It's a bit of a toss-up. I mean, I got a clear winner here, but I will throw Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes as my third worst, just because I no longer give a shit about these movies, and I can't believe they made this one, and it looks okay, I guess, but like I'm done. Can I be done?
You've seen all of these. I mean, going back to the Charlton Heston ones.
I have not seen the third one.
Okay.
Of these. No, I still haven't seen it because I just felt like I was done after. I don't really necessarily. The first one of the new, I guess, quadrilogy now, is really good, and the second one is, okay. And then so I just never made it past. I love the original ones; those are great.
Is this a remake of one of the original ones?
I don't know.
Did they have a Kingdom before? Kingdom of the Apes? None of these are remakes. This is its own thing,
I guess
right?
The first one is, but even the first one's not a remake.
No, it's an
update. I mean, this whole new thing is a whole thing of its own, but it's like the same idea. Obviously, this will be the creation of the kingdom stuff, so you're going to get a more separate from what the trailer looks like. You're going to get a more structured ape-like system, right? Is what I'm seeing out of it. So you're getting very close to, if not pretty exact, what the original first movie was, right? They're building towards that because they even have the Statue of Liberty shit in it, right?
I actually really like this trailer. I thought this thing, especially compared to the Kong trailer that we'll talk about, I thought the special effects, was everybody busy on this movie with the good special effects? Because I thought these look fantastic.
I don't know. It looks like a animated movie,
which it's mostly going to be. And I thought whoever this barbarian horde leader of the ape is, I like this guy and whatever he's doing. But how much of the ape shit can we do and have two films with rampaging apes in the same summer? It's a lot of apes.
Well, I'd rather see. I guess I'd just rather see King Kong at this point. And I say rather because that's why I said this is kind of a toss-up to me. It's a little bit of a tie because I'm really not interested in either one of these. So
I think the opposite, where I'm more interested in this because I'm just not interested in the Kong stuff anymore, which will lead us right into the King Kong, Godzilla, New Empire. This is now the fourth movie in.
Yeah, why is it Godzilla X Kong? Why do you need a fucking colon? Why do we need a subtitle here? The New Empire. Fuck does that even mean?
I'm a little bummed because the King Kong Skull Island I thought was fucking excellent.
That's so long ago, bro. That is in the rearview mirror and gone.
I thought that was excellent. I thought the Kong verse, the last one was okay. It was okay
with the Godzilla and Kong.
It built up to something, and so I did.
We're getting done with this.
But
with
this
the Godzilla
one,
stuff. The
special effects look terrible when they're running at the screen towards each other like they're Batman and Robin.
Yes,
what is that?
Shot? I fucking love it.
It's out of here. Were the Avengers?
Who are you? Yeah, that's like there's no one is saying no. Oh my god, I fucking love it. It's ridiculous. I can't stand it. What the fuck is this? And don't really don't even understand the storyline. Like, there's like an old, like Kong's old, and then there's like other killer Kongs.
You found a storyline in this trailer? I didn't find
I'm so
anything.
confused. Yeah, there's like a group of other monkeys. I don't know, other apes, right? They're like red or whatever, and they're the ones that are trying to like get out and take over everything, right? They're the bad guys. That's all I could understand.
I think as time goes on, people are going to look back at the Peter Jackson 2005 version and really respect that more and more.
I don't even think time goes on. That fucking King Kong is amazing. Everyone knows it.
I hope
already.
People know that.
That thing was great. Remember back when that movie came out and how good it was? People fucking cried at the end of that movie.
I don't know why that feels like it underperformed or is undervalued to me, though.
No way. It did not. It was huge. It was one of the bigger HD releases, HD
Fucking
DVD, Blu-ray stuff. It was one of the bigger releases for that, one of the bigger sellers.
Good, I'm glad, because these subsequent ones have been shit.
I mean, now I think it's just like Titanic is now. Like, Titanic's not that big of a... Everyone's seen it. Everyone's talked about Titanic to the point now when the 4K comes out of Titanic, it's kind of like a lot of people buy it and stuff, but a lot of people just don't give a shit anymore.
Fair enough.
I think that happens with some of these big movies.
Well, I just think that the King Kong... I mean, if you look at what we had before... that with King Kong and with
real
Godzilla.
Storytelling and stuff, and a real director and all that. I mean, no offense to Adam Wingard, whoever that is.
He's not the same as Peter Jackson, obviously, on the same level of that. Especially with Peter Jackson working at the height of his powers.
Do you know who this guy is?
Yeah, didn't he do like a VHS or one of those, or You're Next?
The VHS stuff, The Guest.
Was it You're Next, that one?
He did the Blair Witch remake. Oh, great. He did the VHS.
He's part of Ty West and those guys.
A thing of that, and he did You're Next.
I like You're Next.
Okay, it's okay.
He's not the filmmaker I wanted. He's not.
This isn't that great of a lineup, really. This is all horror
Skull
stuff,
Island is still the gem in this new
sure.
batch of Godzilla and King Kong movies that they've come out with the King of the Monsters and
easily. That's really old.
It was about 6 years old now, 7 years old. Yeah, getting old.
No.
Yeah. Skull Island? Yeah. 2017. The one with Samuel L. Jackson. That's the one I'm talking about. Skull Island. The King Kong movie. Yeah, with Samuel L. Jackson. That's 2017. Tom Hiddleston. So it's not crazy old, but it's part of this new series. And I think it's the best of the new series.
I don't even know if I count that as part of the series anymore. Although, this movie does harken back to that.
Yeah, see,
but that just feels like a different. Well, it is really because it's not Godzilla. I guess that's
Godzilla and Kong.
The Godzilla stuff is so different. Well, it's really Godzilla. It's so different. Like, well, I guess this one's more Kong. I guess I don't understand. Where is this? What's the timeline of this for the one before?
Who fucking knows?
I'm a little
There's
confused.
Baby Kongs and shit. I mean, it looks awful. Looks fucking terrible.
When does this take place? Is this a prequel? That wouldn't make sense. I'm not sure what happened even in the last one.
I think this is going to be a big embarrassment for Warner Brothers, especially coming off of how popular that Godzilla -1 is right now in theaters. That Toho version is going well.
I don't know. I mean, this will probably smash
obviously,
that to
but I just think that people are loving this Godzilla movie that's out right now, and
people are loving it, but those people are film people. That movie will never play to a large audience.
But it's the highest grossing Japanese live action film ever right now, so it's pretty
Well,
spectacular.
yeah, have you seen ticket prices?
Are event prices is like $20? Yeah.
I hope it is the highest grossing. Yeah.
Shit.
Jesus.
All right, let's move on and talk about Mad Max Furiosa. This is the spin-off, sequel, continuation, some shit, to Fury Road. I don't know what the timeline is here. Is this before?
This is
it a prequel?
Yes, because she's
young, but it has Immortal Joe, the villain of the last one, in it too, and Chris Hemsworth as a seemingly
because that's how it would almost have to lead into the other one somehow. Right?
Hemsworth's under a pile of makeup here is kind of a biker gang outlaw who's going up against Joe. And one of my least favorite things in movies is when there's two villains in a movie. Give me a villain. When you got too many fucking bad guys, it takes too long to get through the story. You don't know. It's this is a really strange reference, but I was watching Rapid Fire recently, and that movie has two
Well, it
bad
felt
guys,
like-
and it fucking sucks because when one dies, you realize it's kind of anticlimactic because you still got to kill the other one.
I don't know. This didn't feel like they were two bad guys to me when I watched this trailer. She was learning from the Chris Hemsworth guy. Felt like
Maybe that's the case.
more of a little bit of a tutelage was happening there. If I'm not mistaken. I mean, I could be. The trailer is just like more of a teaser trailer, really, like a long teaser trailer. And it's just showing off that George Miller is a complete madman and has made a weird looking movie again that I hope is going to be like Fury Road, but I honestly no idea.
I wasn't expecting
tell from
Fury
this
Road
trailer.
to be Fury Road, so fucking I hope it's this.
That's
you
what I'm
know?
saying. So I'm still willing to watch it. It looks insane. It has the visuals, but I don't know. Fury Road had a really great story, to be honest with you, and the way that that story played out, right? The structure of that was very different, and those characters were great. You're missing major players, right, from that movie into this. I don't
You're missing
know.
your quote-unquote everyman, who Tom Hardy was.
I like
obviously.
Anya Taylor-Joy. I like Chris Hemsworth, but I don't know how well they play. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Charlize obviously is in a class of her own, and Tom Hardy was just so good, especially playing off her, even though they didn't get along. I don't know. It doesn't seem like this has the same impact.
It seems like a minor. It seems like a minor idea fleshed out in an over the top way from the trailer to me.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see, because it's just.
It's
the
mayhem
story
on
is
screen.
she has to return home.
That's
it.
what they're giving us right now. This teaser trailer, or whatever this is, this early trailer.
Yeah.
It's supposed to come out in May, and there was no sign of it so far. So they had to release something. People were going to start talking about, is this a troubled production?
There's probably a lot of effects going on,
which is why I think some of the CG is a little dodgy.
A lot of finishing
as well
stuff.
in this.
Yeah.
But I think it's just because it's an early.
Compared to Fury Road, didn't you feel that too? Like there's some shots in this where it just doesn't quite look like things don't seem to line up right, and like the movement between things seems wrong somehow. Yeah, like it's unfinished in some way. I
think
don't
it
know.
is. I think these are early special effects, and if anybody,
the coloring, like the saturation's really weird.
I mean, George Miller
throughout
is
it.
a master of guiding your eye. I mean, that last movie is a fucking masterwork
Yes.
in editing and film and choreography and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's why I agree. And it's really made out of nothing, like all the Mad Max
So I
movies
have
are.
no doubt this
You're just
will be.
thrust into this world with some characters that have a pretty simple thing to do. It's usually a place to be. They usually have to move through the world. So I guess as long as it can do that, I don't know. Do we care enough about Furiosa? I didn't know that this character was. I'm surprised we didn't do
I
another
didn't know
Mad
it
Max.
resonated as well with the pop culture as well as it did, but apparently so.
I mean, I liked it when it was Charlize, but I don't understand that. I don't know that I liked the character as much as I just liked Charlize.
Yeah, well, that's true. And she brought a lot to it, her presence in the movie. She was a very strong presence in that last one. And like I said, I'm going to miss the everyman character of the quote-unquote everyman of the Mad Max and some of the nods he gave and just and there was some charisma there, and it carried the movie in a lot of ways.
Well, we'll see. I mean, Anya Taylor-Joy is usually
She's fantastic, yeah.
pretty good, to be honest with you. Yeah, so we'll see. I guess it just all depends on what they do with this character in general. They didn't really... They haven't shown her... I mean, she's in the trailer all the time, but they really haven't shown much of her acting in this, so I don't... Weird trailer. But I'd still say this is my number one so far. Out of all these movies, this is the one that I would definitely want to see.
And I think this is going to be a big hit. And, well, whether it gets nominated for Best Picture like Fury Road did and win all those Oscars remains to be seen. But at this point, this trailer is at least intriguing. And I'm always down to see what crazy man George Miller is up to. Well, that's going to wrap up our show for tonight. We want to thank you guys for joining us. As always, you can hear our back catalog on Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, and, of course, MovieMavericks.com. Speaking for Trevor Anderson, I'm Jason Rugard, and we are the Movie Mavericks.
Oh my, another magnificent episode has come to an end. If you're craving more, set your destination to MovieMavericks.com, Warp 9. Engage!